All right, guys, street bob time. Got a digital, oh, lots of colors here. Digital dash, one of only 2 models now, I guess, that has the digital dash. We've got mid controls here. Oh, it's easy to find neutral there. Comfortable ride position if you like the mini apes, which is what we have here. Trying to find friction zone here. That's about mid to late, but if you've ridden a Harley, you know, as you let out that clutch, it's very, very easy. We got the 114 here in the street bob. Sorry, this is a really gradual get-go here. Sorry about that. So yeah, we got a nice low seat height. I believe it's about 26 inches, which is no problem at all if you're a shorter person, which I think that I'm a shorter person, which is fine. Woohoo! Oh yeah. That 114 is no joke. Alright, so the street bob is the very, I guess, if you want to say introductory, I guess, besides the Softail standard, which is pretty much like a stripped down street bob. But the street bob is one of the base model Softail models here in the Harley-Davidson lineup. This is the 2021. I already talked a little bit about how it's one of 2 models here that has the digital dash. Some people like that, some people don't. I am a fan of a dash that you can see without having to duck your head. So as long as the dash isn't here on the tank, which it is for a lot of the Softail models, I like this because I can see it without having to take my eyes off the road for too long. And as small as it might look here on the handlebar riser bracket, whatever you want to call it, as small as it may look here on your screen, it's not hard to see. I've got the sun basically beaten right down on it, and I can still see the gauge just fine. So I'm imagining it's going to be even easier at night. You've got the new paint here on this 3.5 gallon gas tank, which we'll put a picture of it here up for you. I like it. I like the new paint job. But for me, there was a big to-do this year about the virtual 2021 model lineup. And really what they were introducing was new paint jobs. And, you know, I'm a fan of Harley-Davidson. I'm going to go ahead of them. I'm a fan of Harley-Davidson. But I mean, oh, just a little bit of a drag there on the peg. I'm a fan of Harley-Davidson, but I mean, the paint is not a reason to have a virtual event. I can see you saying like, oh, you know, we got new paint jobs here, and we want to talk about them, but they made a real big to do, and so I don't know. To each their own. I like the paint job. Don't get me wrong. I think the new styling on the tank is great. But it's just not something that I would have put on a whole event to announce. So I got the spoked wheels, and with most of the Harley-Davidson Softail models, you've got single disc in the front, so you can look at that spoked wheel from one angle and not see that brake disc, and then single in the back. Got the monoshock suspension, which all the soft tails have now. Which I'm gonna reach down here and see. Doesn't feel like it's got the adjustable suspension that's showing here on the side, but I'm guessing underneath the seat you can adjust the monoshock rear suspension. But it's a fairly comfortable ride. We don't have the upside down telescopic front suspension, just the standard suspension here on the Street Bob. Like I said, this is one of the more base models. But it's still a moderately comfortable ride. The Street Bob starts at about 15 grand, and so I mean, to me, there's a lot missing on this bike. You got the LED headlight, and I believe that the tail light is LED, but I can't be sure about that. But I'll have that on the screen for you. But the turn signals are just the standard filament bulbs, and so you know, it's just these little things I think that Harley's missing when it comes to selling a $15,000 motorcycle. That LED should come standard. I think ABS should come standard. I don't know if it does, but this bike does have ABS. Like I said, but I'm not sure if ABS is a standard feature for the Street Bob. The nice thing here about the Street Bob, which on my Fat Bob, you did have my 2013 that I used to ride. So I was worried here with this solo saddle that as we get on the street and we really test, or the freeway, and we really test this 114 engine, how this saddle was gonna do holding me to this bike, and it really did well. You know, it's hot, it's a hot day, I've probably got a little butt sweat going, but yeah, no problem. I didn't feel like a slide back. I didn't feel like I was holding on for dear life, because there's a lot of power here in this engine, and it's kind of raw. You know, we don't have we don't have a windshield here or a fairing, so the wind's really hitting me here in the chest. But no, it handled it well, and we're doing okay. I'm my oh crap alarm in my brain didn't go off as we got on the freeway there. There's not a lot of vibration here in the hands or the feet, and that's one of the things that I love about the counterbalance engines. I know that if you're a diehard Harley guy or gal, you know, you like that rumble, you like to feel that vibration, but it's minimal here when you got a really nice, really well-engineered engine. Okay, so the riding position here, like I said, I'm 5'6", I have a 30-inch inseam. The riding position is comfortable. My knees are way up here. Like, I can hug the tank, which is not something you're going to do very often on a Harley-Davidson, with my knees. That's how high my knees come up here. The air cleaner is pretty much out of the way. Like, I'm not really hitting it with my leg. Very comfortable ride. Like, nothing really there's no little annoyances about riding in this position. But I will say though, as a shorter person, this bike feels like it fits me really well. Now, if you're getting up over 6 feet tall, this mid controls here with your feet, I can see it kind of wearing on you. I can see your knees feeling like they're coming up into your chest, and your arms, you know, my arms are not straight, they're bent, and it's a very comfortable feeling position for my arms up here in this higher position with the Mini-Eight handlebars. But if you're a taller person, your arm's going to be more bent. You might feel a little squished, and I think maybe if it does have a kit, and I'll have that on the screen if it is available, if there's a kit available for you to put front controls on this bike, I think maybe that's where you're going to find that comfort zone if you're a taller person. Because like I said, I'm 5'6", and my knees are up here next to the tank. Now, like I said, I scraped my peg here, making that turn on a stoplight. And I don't know that we're going to get enough speed to really test out the lean angles on this bike. Woo-hoo! Oh, that 114 likes to get on it. It's so easy. The power is just so easy. You know, if you're intimidated as maybe a new rider looking at the Street Bob as your first motorcycle, that 114 is a big engine. It's a big motor. So if that worries you, I would say the power is very linear. Like, I rolled on the throttle pretty hard to get that real, you know, hold on to your butt's power. But I think for a new rider, you're not gonna have a hard time. Okay, we're gonna try and lean into this a little more. All right, not too bad. I mean, that turn wasn't very fast, but by all means, Harleys aren't made to corner. So, what's missing on these? If you haven't ridden a Milwaukee-Eight engine or any of these new Harleys, is that clunk when you shift. I think that clunk is pretty much gone. So I'm really giving it throttle there to get to the speed, up to speed fast like that. So we'll take this next, when we come to a stop, we'll take it slower and I'll show you. There's nothing to really be intimidated. If you want that power, it's there. But because of the linear delivery of this power, it's not something I think that as a new rider that you have to be really intimidated about. Now, I say this on all of my test ride reviews. You got to go out and ride it yourself. If you're interested in a bike, find a demo truck, find a dealer that'll let you take a bike if you're interested in buying it, to take it out, because that's the only way you're really going to know. I have experience riding. I've been riding Harleys for about 8 years and riding total for about 12 years. And so, you know, I have some experience that I can bring to you, but I'm not you. And, you know, where I am at 12 years, you might be in like 3 years as far as skill goes. So it's all relative, and you really need to ride these bikes to find out. But this isn't an intimidating motorcycle, I don't think. I will say, if you're new to riding and you're going to take this bike out on the freeway, which, you know, with a bike like this, you're going to want to. If you're new to riding, you might want to invest in a windshield, because, you know, feeling the brunt, especially in this riding position where your knees are up and your chest is up and you're not leaning forward, you're going to feel that wind pulling you off the bike. So you got to just kind of feel that out. You know, there are pros and cons to having a windshield when you ride. So I will say, though, that's something you might want to consider as a new rider if the Street Bob is on your list of bikes you're considering to ride. Okay, so here we go. Come up to this stop sign. I was like, where are we going? That's a different way. It's not, we're not going that way. Okay, we're just gonna roll on the throttle slow. Shift a little earlier in the rev range, and as you can see, like, it's not a real touchy throttle. So if you want to roll on nice and soft and you're a little intimidated by 114 cubic inches of Milwaukee-Eight power, it's not something that's just gonna fuck you off the bike. So let's talk about a little bit more about the suspension. For what's a kind of an entry-level Softail, this is a comfortable ride. You know, these aren't the best roads that we're riding on. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm taking these bumps and these potholes, and it's pretty smooth. I'm impressed. Let's just say I'm impressed. The other thing we can talk about is the braking. You do only have that single disc in front. This bike does have ABS, and braking is easy. You know, where I do wonder is the stopping power of a single disc when you really get into some hairy situations. But I think that you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay on this bike with just the single disc in front. So the balance test, I always do this balance test where I try and go as slow as I can without putting my feet down. And this bike doesn't do too bad. It's not, I rode the Sport Glide already, and it's not as, It's not as balanced as the Sport Glide, but it's not top heavy. You know, I'm just kind of rocking it back and forth here. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a 670 pound bike, wet, and so it's not a light motorcycle by any means, but it's definitely manageable. I don't feel like this is too much to handle. I weigh about 185 pounds, and I already mentioned how tall I am, and I could whip this bike around pretty easily. But again, I'm coming with a lot of experience riding Harleys, and so, you know, if you're coming from only riding sport bikes that weigh about 450, 430, 500 max pounds, this is you're gonna feel the weight. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat how heavy these bikes are in reality, but I mean, it's still a motorcycle, and if you've ridden a heavy bike before, you know, once you get it going, there's not really anything to worry about. All right, we talked about graphics, we talked about brakes, talked about suspension. The power's there, obviously. I think we've covered our bases. You know, the arms on these mirrors are kind of short, but because of where the handlebars are, there's no problem viewing what's behind me in the mirrors, so they're in a good position. But as we come to the end of this ride, I always ask you to leave your questions down there in the comments. If you have any questions about the 2021 Street Bob, I will do my best to answer them. And I'm sure someone out there who's ridden it as well, or maybe owns one, then you can tell from experience what you think. And as always, guys, if you liked this video, if you found it helpful at all, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, please be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I'm that one guy. I am out.